Hey, today I am working in an accordion sketchbook that I made yesterday. Actually made several of them yesterday from the old underpapers that were here yesterday on my table. I've been doing different things on them to finish them up. I was, testing out pencils and playing around with mixing my regular acrylic paint with encaustic gesso to see if I could get a nice matte, a toothy matte finish so I can use those paints with encaustic painting, and it worked beautifully. So they were all full and just kind of ready to be turned into these little books. So I'm working on one now, but here are the other ones. So I made a couple different formats. So this kind of larger format and then these shorter ones. Oh, and the reason, here's the reasons. If you remember how the whole drawing thing started, that, the big messy drawing sketchbook, it was these little guys that were the impetus for that drawing, craving month of wonderfulness. So I wanted to create something else like that. And you can see this video on YouTube. You can look under the regular videos there, not the playlist, just my regular public videos. Anyway, so I made more of them by combining the underpapers that were here on my table. Had a couple couple sheets of this gray-green sulfite paper, and then those are actually my last two sheets of that pack. They're 18 by 24, and then I have this Fabriano sketch paper. So I had two sheets of those as well. So I combined the gray-green and the white in all of the books just to shake up, the look of things as I'm going through. So they all, they'll have marks and then just splotches and swishes of color, because you've seen, like, I clean off my brayer and my brushes and test pens and pencils and charcoal and stuff on these underpapers. So they just make for really, really great little sketchbooks when it's all said and done. And plus, having a little bit of acrylic on the surface strengthens the papers, so they're able to withstand even more. This is my favorite format, and let me move this one. I made these just in case you also have 18 by 24 inch paper. These taller formats are made by cutting the paper in half. Actually, I tore my paper. You can tear it in half or cut it this way. So the 24 inch, it's actually the 18 inch you want to cut in half. And then you get this taller format. I like this too, but and I did do some trimming because my tearing was kind of bad. But yeah, I really like this size. And this right here, this is some of the golden acrylic paint mixed with my encaustic gesso. I did mix up my encaustic gesso with marble dust instead of plaster of Paris, and I really love the marble dust. So anyway, I mixed a little bit of paint to a little bit more of encaustic gesso and just, played to see what tints that would give me, and they're just gorgeous. So I'm super excited to be able to use those with encaustic paintings. So there's those. I was able to make 5 books from 4 sheets of underpaper, 4 18 by 24 inch sheets of underpaper. And then here's since I mentioned it, here is a look at some of the lovely marble dust gesso paint I was able to use. So encaustic wax will go over this just fine because there is a tooth to it. It's, you know, the marble dust really tones down the acrylicness of things. So I'm excited to work with that. Anyway, let me show you through this one really quickly. So I was working on this spread. And my approach to these is just to go with whatever my gut feeling is. So I think that, yeah, I'm anticipating that these books are going to be a mixture of line drawing plus painting, like pareidolia painting. So already, you know, there's the line drawing and then it just kind of morphs into pareidolia stuff. So, and I know, well, I'm trying to use the word pareidolia more so that more people know what it is. And you can also call it intuitive negative space painting or negative shape painting. Yeah. So, yeah, there's lots of good stuff in this one too. Tons of marks. And this is what I did yesterday. It's not finished, but it's just a lovely little fanciful nighttime scene. And I can already see what I want to do. Just a few little detail touches here and there. I want to add some grasses here at the bottom and leave it at that. So this kind of more abstract figurative work, that's where my heart is at the moment. And I kind of work and try to live with open hands and an open heart. So that's why I say at the moment, that's where my heart is. But I really do, I mean, I think I've mentioned this before too, like my work has been heading in this direction for quite some time. It just hasn't come to full fruition. It's just bits and pieces of things have been changing over the years. So, but yeah, this is kind of what I'm after. And I do think that a huge part of being able to describe this, like to describe this kind of mark making, this kind of shape and imagery, it actually came from working with the flowers. So all the floral stuff I've been doing it's been a huge help, I think, in seeing things in a new way. Because for me, I don't know a whole bunch about flowers. So my flowers are they're all abstract and kind of made up anyway. I mean, based on reality, but also just like whatever I want it to be. So that's been really helpful and freeing. So I'm gonna keep working on this little spread here for a few minutes. And sorry about the fan, and also my stomach is gurgling. Sorry about the extra noises. Okay, you guys can giggle at my stomach if you want to. I'm not gonna edit it out. It's just gonna be whatever quirkiness happens. Okay, so I had put like a big messy pile of color on her for her hair, and I don't want that. I want something just kind of fun and free. There we go. That'll do. glass on my chair is really squeaky, and I keep meaning to fix it and I forget. Okay, I think I want this to be, I think that all of these figures are chasing light. And I know, like, for me, that has a lot to do with what's going on in the world at the moment. Or my awareness of, my greater awareness of what's going on in the world all over the place. And so this is like, I guess, a way for me to plead with God for help. Help, help. And I know that at least some of the answers to that prayer are you and me. Okay. Then I want to shape that star a little bit better. Checking. Okay, I am recording. I just feel like sometimes I have forgotten to hit record, or that something goes wrong. Okay, I like that. I guess here on this wing, I'm going to fill that in some. Have I mentioned how much I love pencil and paint together? Ooh, I love it. So these are essentially the backs of people's heads, or the figures' heads. So it's all, or at least for this figure, it's just the hair. And then I think maybe she has little wings too. So I'm going to put them here. And I'm going to go out a little bit and not completely fill them in. That's a fun look. Neat. Okay. And then here too, I got a little bit too overzealous with the blue, this royal blue, or it's light, like a light ultramarine is actually what it is. But I think the flash color is royal blue. Oh, that's great. Okay. So this one is more of a little profile. So, but I do think we'll keep the face pointed up and maybe start the hair there. Little lips and a nose. Okay, and then cool. And then I go with a pile of pink. There we go. Actually, okay. So that little bit is done. Keep an eye on the time. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So that's where I'm going to leave this spread for today. I think May might end up being sketchbook month for me. I can't seem to get away from these books. I'm loving exploring the imagery. I'm loving drawing. Yesterday I sketched something from real life. Whoa. And it was just super fun to do it. I know I keep talking about that big, messy drawing sketchbook, but working in that did something in me. And I think it helped me become more attuned to the act of drawing itself. And it also helped my eye. So, you know, just sitting down and drawing something in my way it's starting to feel more and more like second nature. So, got this one out again. I worked on it a little bit more yesterday, I think, and I just want to add some little patterns to this dress or skirt. Just simple little things. Okay, then for her hair here, I'm gonna add Pitt Pen, and today I am loving this bright brush. I keep gravitating toward it, and I try to pay attention to that stuff and follow along where the process is leading me. So for some reason right now, this brush is important. All right, so that helps give her, you know, kind of form the hair a little better. And there you can see it. And then I want to add white to the bird. So coming back in and adding kind of the color, the gray-green of the paper that this is actually on, that helped meld things. Kind of let it scooch into other places, added some yellows. And so now I can come back to the bird and add some scribbles and have the bird stand out a bit more. Okay, and then here I added some stuff for the mom, or on the mom too. I do like her hair just being outlined. And so I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. I was about to fill it in, but I like it, so why would I change it? Okay. I want more contrast here. So I'm going to start working on her big puffy sleeves again. And just adding texture. Now I'm going to go with a little darker, or different. Yeah, I guess it is darker too. I'm just working quickly and trying to listen to my gut. Okay. So I was working in my sketchbook, Meanderings sketchbook, the one that I've been showing, and I came across this really cool technique, I guess, and it is scrumbling on a bit of pencil and then putting the India ink on top of it, and then using a blending stump to move all the color around, and it just creates this gorgeous look. So I want to I want to use that approach here too. Nice. Okay, and then, you know what, I want to build out Mom's hand. And the same here. All right. Then this is Peacock Green, and it's just, I'm using it just as a dark, and of course because there is so much green, it works too. But I am trying to think more lately just about using the value of things rather than the actual color, and it makes it really interesting to just kind of grab a dark or a light and put it down and not worry so much about the colors of things. Ah, that's nice. Let's bring a little bit more. Okay, and then I just need to reestablish her hair a little bit. It's so fun. Okay. Then I kind of like the having the outline in the her other set of wings in the background, and then here in the foreground we've got this, just a difference, just a simple way to make a difference in the look of things. And then how about we put the veins in the back wings. Ah, fun, fun, fun. The only other thing I wanted to do here is their feet are, like, you can see the soles of their shoes, the bottoms, and hers, I mean, she's kind of just getting going. Like, she's once you get further into the story, the creatures, the figures get a little more fantastical. I guess that's what you say, they feel more fantastical, and so she's more human. I'm making this up. But I still want her little feet to not feel so like boink, you know, so square. So I'm just gonna move them a bit. And it looks like that was a peacock green as well, but I think I'm gonna go with this cobalt turquoise, which maybe that's actually what it is. And so I just want her feet to flow, like to feel a little softer. That doesn't look right. Probably too because her legs are so stiff. So let me revisit that. Let's see. Okay. I'm actually going to, I see there's a little patch of color here that looks like it could be her other arm and hand, and she's got a hold of this star. She's got a hold of some light. And I wouldn't have seen that if I wasn't trying to work on the legs. Nice. And then there's stripes on her shirt here, so I'm just going to mimic them so that it, you know, I don't have to, the mind can fill in, you know, this is the other arm. But the issue here is her legs. They're, even though it's like she's taking off, they're not right. And they don't have to be either. But I want a little more rightness. So I'm just going to rework them. This, you know, your drawings can be as childlike, as imperfect, as wonky and weird as you want them to be. But I just want this to feel a little more natural. And I think I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, in this instance, her little shoes would be going this way. And I love that overlap with the mom and the daughter, because it's like the story really is coming out of their connection. All right, so now I'm just going to bring in more red. Now we got to start with something good. Yay! And I'm going to leave the history there. I'm not going to try to erase it anymore or paint over or anything. It's just the way it is. Aw, look at that. So much better. So cool. Okay, and then the final little touch for this, I'm going to put some little seedies in there. Maybe and then, I know I said for the final touch, but I'm actually just going to use that Pitt pen over colored pencil technique here. And I love brown and pink, so that is making me super happy. I want her hair to sing a little bit more, so I'm just going to scrumble some of this warm gray. And then here, oh, let's see, a little wet brush, there we go. Just want to brighten that up. Okay, so other than wanting to brighten up the sky here, this is done. I love how playful everything is. It's free. It's just fun.